morning, student. Ninth Standard Social Science, History, Unit 10, Industrial Revolution. In previous class, we discussed about Industrial Revolution. Title likes what are the causes for Industrial Revolution, beginnings of the Industrial Revolution, invention of steam power, development in textile industry, birth of factories, textile goods in large quantities, iron and steel industries, mining industry, transport and communication, modern rail transport system, first railway line between Stockton and Darlington 1825, steamboat. Now we see effect of industrial revolution in England. Industrial revolution lead to the expansion of trade, the production of more food, emergence of factory worker as a new class, the rise and growth of cities resulting in rapid urbanization and a organized working class movement seeking voting right and regulation of their service conditions brought about a new dynamic in politics. Impact on environment and living condition. The uses of chemical and fossil fuels that replaced wind, water, and firewood resulted in increase in air and water pollution. The Industrial Revolution marked a major turning point in the earth ecology and a human's relationship with the environment. Industrial Revolution helped them create opportunity for employment for all members of the family. However, the life for the laboring class was miserable. Children were employed in textile mills because they worked for lower wages. In 1842, the British Parliament published a report about the state of coal mining, the Mines Report. Safety was very poor in early industrial factories and mines. The injuries from machinery would vary from mild burns, arm and leg injuries, to whole finger to be cut off or amputation of limbs and even death. Urbanization. Urbanization means migrating rural area to urban area. England became the workshop of the world. There was, however, a general decline in agriculture. This resulted in the flow of population from village to industrial town. Population growth, migration, and urbanization were the major social change taking place during this period. The city of London grew from a population of 2 million in 1840 to 5 million 40 years. The same way, the Manchester cool climate was ideal for textile production. Further, it was situated close to the port of Liverpool and the coal field of Lancashire. Manchester became the textile capital of the world, drawing a huge number of migrants to the city. In 1771, Manchester was a sleepy town, 22,000 people. Over the next 50 years, its population exploded and reached up to 1,80,000 peoples. Socio-economic consequence. The peasants were pauperized and the working class suffered, the middle class became wealthy by investing capital in trade and industry. The government of the day were influenced by them. All legalization safeguarded their interest. Laborers were not permitted to form the trade union. This circumstance that socialism as a new ideology was born in Europe. Karl Marx advocated scientific socialism for the protection of the working class from the exploitative policy of the capitalist classes. Labor movement. By the latter half of the 19th century, there were strong working class movement all over Western Europe which demand economic as well as political right. The working class in large gathering prepare a charter of demand and obtaining signature from millions of fellow workers. The charter was presented to the House of Commons in England, Lower House in England Parliament, known as Chartism. This working class movement was active between 1836 and 1848. The Chartist called for voting right to every man, every 21 years of age, secret ballot, that is voting, abolition of property qualification for member of the parliament, annual parliamentary election and equal representation. These were their demands. Spread of industrial revolution. First in France, industrial revolution in France. France did not possess as much natural resources as England. The political instability caused by the French Revolution and the prolonged Napoleonic War bricked the country. Many of those French businessmen who had sought refuge in Britain during the Revolution. On their return to France after Napoleonic War, used British technology in France. This helped to accomplish industrial revolution in their country. The adaptation of British mad spindle led to the twofold increasing in French textile production during the 1830 to 1860. The Francois de Vandel family brought British technology to Lorraine, it's a town in France. The family introduced steam engine in coal mining and bundling for iron smelting. By the 1860s, the De Vandel family employed over nearly 10,000 workers, diversifying its business in entered other heavy industries such as railroad construction and shipbuilding. In 1832, the first French railroad, Saint Etienne line, was opened. Numerous railroad lines followed. By the end of the 19th century, France had become prominent for its automobiles. The two biggest automobile companies of today, France, were started in 1891. In 1898, Louis Renault built the quadricycle from which he began to produce in large quantities under his company. The Society Renault Ferrier, the company Renault Brothers. Industrial Revolution Germany. Germany had the natural resources required for an industrial revolution. Large coal reserves were located in the area of Saar, Ruhr, Upper Silesia, and Saxony. Iron was deposited in this area of Harz Mountain and Upper Silesia again. Before 1871, Germany was made up of numerous German states with Prussia being the biggest. In 1842, the Prussia government created the railway fund in order to finance railroad construction project. In 1871, Prussia finally united Germany. Germany emerged as the most industrialized country by the end of the 19th century. In chemical, Germany excelled in the production of potassium salt, dyes, pharmaceutical product, and synthetics. Companies like Bayer and Host lead to the chemical industry of Germany. Germany became a leader in automobile industry. Daimler and Benz became the most popular brand of automobile in Germany and the world. Important invention of the industrial revolution. Impact of industrial revolution in India. Until middle of the 19th century, England was an agricultural country and India was known for its excellence in manufacturing as well as in agriculture. When the British established their foothold in Bengal as a territorial power, the loot from Bengal and the Carnatic provide the required capital and helped them accomplish industrialization in England. The weavers of Bengal suffered at the hands of the companies, that is, British East India Company's officials and their agent. Due to loss of market for hand-woven cotton goods, India lost her old industrial position and became an exporter of raw material. The collector of Madurai reported the family of about 5,000 weavers did not have the means to take more than one meals of rice a day. The same way, the collector of Tirunelveli observed that the weaving population has outturned its means of subsistence and terms of caste prevent them to partaking the work. Millions have died of starvation in famines. To escape starvation death, peasants and artisans had to move out of country, opting to working on a plantation in British Empire colonies. Recap. So far, students, so far we discussed the main attribute of industrial revolution are presented. Reason for industrial revolution taking place first in England are explained. Invention leading to development in textile are discussed. The use of iron and steel leading to mechanization of all industries and the rapid change in transport and communication are detailed. Impact of industrial revolution and environment and the living condition are highlighted. Spread of industrial revolution in France, Germany and America are the dwelt at length. Labor movement and the repressive measure of the state in US are particularly focused to demonstrate that the right of working class were obtaining after struggle and sacrifices. Students, so far we discussed about industrial revolution in France, Germany and England, where it is birth and what are the inventions invented during the industrial revolutions. So far we discussed. Thank you student. Please follow the assignment given in the PDF.